All right, talking about companies who have a hand in their games like this, and financially speaking, let's talk about how Nintendo doesn't want to have any part of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Esports.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing this one to light. I wanted you to do this.
No, yeah, I think you were going to do a video on it, and you're like, you know what, this is Zan. This is
I
up
think this
Zan's
is a better
alley.
topic for you to discuss.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's more important than you guys think.
Oh, very much so. So basically, what's going on here is Super Smash Bros. Is literally the most popular fighting game franchise of all time. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate just became the #1 best-selling fighting game of all time last year. It had the highest amount of entrants at EVO, which is the fighting game community's equivalent of the International or League of Legends Worlds.
Or Majors. It's their biggest event.
Yeah, it's basically Super Smash Bros. Is the biggest fighting game. Just flat out, right?
Straight up.
And yet the pros in that scene make some of the lowest amounts of money of all the fighting games out there.
We've talked about this before on this podcast.
Exactly.
You
we
brought
talked
it up.
about Zero.
Fortnite salaries compared to Smash salaries. I mean, you have your top tier pros having regular jobs just to get by and then compete on the side.
Yeah, and the competitions barely pay for the price of like, oh, I showed up and I had a hotel room. And last year at EVO, there were players who won and couldn't afford the price of their hotel room with their winnings. Like it was like it's that bad, right? But anyway, once again, Nintendo has come out and talked about why exactly that is. We had a quote from the president of Nintendo, Furukawa, in an interview with Nikkei, which is like an Asian financial outlet. And he said, in order to make our company's games be played by a broad range of people, regardless of experience, gender, or generation, we also want to make our events joinable by a broad range of people. Being able to have a different worldview from other companies without a large sum of prize money is our strength.
And when our team first read this, I don't know why.
Are you just paranoid about it now? We did an eye check. It's
I don't know
probably
why
good.
I'm paranoid. Sorry, I should have done that. And
just watch now. It's just going to be me screaming right over you.
And when our team, usually we keep our topics separate. We talked about this one because it's so baffling.
Yeah.
When our team first read this, you guys went back and forth. And I think the overall premise we got from that, if you guys did not deter anything from those words, is they don't want high prize pools because if you have high prize pools or put a lot of money into your events, you only attract more top tier pros. And thus, by having less prize pools, borderline no prize pools, you welcome a more general audience because there aren't really pros because they can't keep on competing and afford to compete.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you guys?
That's definitely what Nintendo's going for. And it's
is that
really
what you
weird.
deterred from it as well?
Yeah. And because I'll read out another quote because I think the quote from Furukawa isn't as clear as what Sakurai, the game's director, said last year in an interview. That was like a lot more direct, I think. He says, it comes to a point where they're playing the game for the money, and I feel that kind of direction doesn't coincide with Nintendo's view of what games should be.
And
It's rough.
Okay.
It's rough.
I think I see it from two angles. Obviously, you've already brought up in our group chat, they sell games.
Yeah.
They do not need esports. I think it's a very curious take to see someone like this in Nintendo realize we don't need competitive. Like we sell games year in, year out, no matter what. We have a casual audience. We don't need this whole esports thing, and you can respect that.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you think about the other side of things of how much better could it be if you did support your esports scene and you also have obviously plenty of funds to do so. And so it's a very, very curious thing that I don't think anyone's really talking about. The fact that Nintendo is a very, very well-off company and could be doing all the more for their scene and their games, but they're like, we don't need to.
This discussion has been happening ever since Super Smash Bros. Melee, where people from the community have been saying, like, oh, we need more depth to the game, give players, like, something to work towards, so it's not just you pick it up for a weekend and you're good, and Nintendo has consistently just been like, no, that's not what we're looking for here. And they kind of, across the board, seem to not want to invest in esports because, like you said, they don't need to.
And I think it sucks because people like you know about this, but it's not really being voiced in the overall esports scene because, albeit no matter what, the FGC, the fighting game community, is a very quiet voice.
Yeah, we're very much.
They very
are
are active in their own circle.
Yeah.
Much like compared to like Rocket League, or obviously Rocket League's growing esport as well. But you're your own community, and all the drama inside that stirs amidst you guys, but it's never really voiced. And this time around, they've kind of stepped down to the esports scene where we can actually cover the fact that Nintendo doesn't want to support their esports scene. And I'm not saying it's the wrong choice, albeit it might be the right one with the bubble we've talked about plenty of times and the cost to actually do this. But it's so weird to see a company like Valve do very well because obviously, you know, they have an economy of skins they can
Yeah, of
also
course.
sell to a general player
Of
base,
course.
which Nintendo does not offer. I don't know. A lot of different angles on this one. Do you like the fact that they can just come forward and say, we don't need this, like we're not going to?
I mean, I kind of do, I kind of don't. Smash Brothers is very much in the same way that any game made by Kojima, like Metal Gear, has like, you know, Kojima's name on it. Smash Brothers might as well have Sakurai's name on it, and because he is the guy for Smash Brothers. That
I
is
don't
his
even know
baby.
fighting games, but I know that name.
Yeah.
So,
Sakurai is like the head honcho. He makes all decisions essentially, and he very specifically he likes the competitive aspects of Smash Brothers. He has said that. He doesn't hate people competing in Smash Brothers. He wants people. His mindset is to bring everybody under the same umbrella, not just the pro players. But I think by not even throwing like a paltry sum, like let's say Nintendo, we're not asking, oh Nintendo, throw $1 million at a tournament, right?
but
Like say we throw
6
100K,
figures.
yeah, like 100K, just enough to make it so that hey, if you want to come up, if you want to show up, you can. Or maybe have Nintendo sponsor some younger players to go to an event, or have like, you know, more open registration for events, or no cost, or no, you know, there are other ways to make it a more open and friendly event without just saying like, oh, we're just not going to support it at all. I feel.
And I think I know your answer, but let's end on this. Would you
Sure.
prefer that Nintendo supports the esports scene more, the competitive scene more?
Honestly, I kind of wouldn't in a weird way.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Frick,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
so pessimistic.
No, because the thing I see is I kind of like about the fighting game community. I like our quote unquote thuggery. Like we're very, very much kind of like the Call of Duty community, where the Call of Duty community is just like loud, a lot of trash talking. The fighting game community is that as well, to the point where Capcom a couple years back had to, like, when we were getting up on like ESPN and stuff, they sat down a bunch of people from the community, a bunch of attendants, and they were like, okay guys, we need you to dial it down. We're on TV now. They specifically use we need you guys to dial down the thuggery. They use that word.
Wow.
Right? And if Nintendo got involved more so than they already are, we'd really have to like be careful
Because you'd
about
be
what's going on
a stage to be exposed for more of that.
and we'd be
kind of
representing Nintendo more clearly.
So you like
right?
being a bit more private, not so public eye.
In a way, but I also feel like this specific issue where Smash Brothers isn't getting like big enough prize pools, players are struggling to like make it to events and stuff. I feel like that could be maybe solved by players reaching out, doing more proactive outreach to sponsorships and stuff. Because if you pitch,
But don't put that on the players, man.
well, no, I mean, I'm the players, the orgs, their management, like anybody. I feel like there are so many. Smash Brothers is like probably the most family-friendly fighting game out there. It has the highest viewership numbers. I'm sure there's tons of sponsors who would love to get involved if they knew that stuff. And
yeah,
you know,
and
the communication is just not happening.
we could argue back and forth about
Yeah.
FGC pros. Also, you know, you need to. There's content there. You just need to do it.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
you know, I'm not going to fault a player for wanting to just
Oh, yeah.
only compete in the fact that there's no TOs because there's no funding from Nintendo. That to me that sucks because Nintendo obviously has the capabilities to do so, and you have hardworking pro players who are working and then working on the side just to get along.
Yeah, I
So,
would never blame the player.
I guess I'm on a different side than you a little bit.
I just feel like as a community, we need to realize at this point that for years, Nintendo has been we've been asking, and Nintendo has been very clearly saying no.
Yeah, and I'm here to
So,
break it.
Let's just as a community, let's accept that answer no, and let's
here's you.
solve the
Accept
problem
it.
ourselves.
No, we're not going to accept this crap.
Well, Nintendo is so stubborn. You can't change
Sakurai's
Nintendo's
watching
mind.
right now. What do you say to him?
I say Sakurai. I love Kirby too. Sakurai's a huge Kirby fan. Sakurai, I love
Christ,
Kirby.
Fanboy more, dude.
I love Kirby. I appreciate your very pure intentions for Smash Brothers as a franchise. I would love it if you could throw the scene a little bit of money just to support the people who love your game so much. And I'm sure they will also do their best to make it so that the community isn't exclusive of people coming in.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nintendo esports prize pools are not getting any bigger as of right now. Will they in the future? Open-ended question.